Get 5 coffins ready.
What's up everybody, welcome to my guide for Kali. Kali is an assassin who's only ever really seen as a jungler. She's the quintessential hypercarry of the jungle role and has had the reputation of a late game beast since SMITE's closed beta days. Despite being around for so long, her build actually hasn't changed much. Kali needs both kin size and hasten katana somewhere in her build, and I'll get to why as we discuss her kit. Other items, well, as you can tell, Kali loves attack speed and movement speed, and that's all she wants. Buying a Magi's Blessing on her is understandable, but really you want to create builds that crank out as many basic attacks as possible with as much move speed as possible, with a splash of penetration to top it off. Relics are blink beads, no room for argument there. Going in without blink is a surefire way to ensure you never get a kill on anyone other than maybe Amazon Cobb. We've got another long passive to get through, but luckily it's easy to understand, so let's get to it. When Kali first spawns, and anytime she respawns, she selects a god as her target. She gains scaling physical penetration against the target, scaling with levels, and if she kills the target, she is healed for 60% of her maximum health and 30% if she gets an assist on that god. And finally, she gains bonus gold and XP for killing that target. So, of course, you want to go for this target. And, that's it? No, of course not, silly. When your target dies, whether by your hand or another's, a new target will be selected automatically, and is chosen solely by whichever god is closest to you when your prior target died. And remember, you can only access that menu to select a new target at the start of the match, or when you yourself die. But regardless, this is what makes Kali the hypercarry in SMITE. Almost all of her damage comes from basic attacks, so all she has to do, in theory at least, is just keep holding left click first at the target she chose, and then hold left click on top of whoever comes up next as your target. But how do you select which enemy to target at the start of the match? Honestly, this is so open-ended it deserves a guide in its own, so I'll try to keep it brief. You typically want to select the mid laner, with ADC taking second priority, then the enemy jungler, then soul lane, and finally support. You don't want to target the support for obvious reasons, and soul laners are already hard to gank on better early game gods, so those are out of the equation usually. So between the ADC, mid laner, and jungler, just use your discretion and pick whoever you think will be the easiest to kill. You may feel like switching to the enemy jungler is pointless, but in this gank heavy meta at least, junglers are very active around the map, so you can get a leg up on them with a counter rotation, or if they rotate on you while you're ganking, you have that mark on them to make them reluctant to do so. Naturally, you learn who to target as Kali by playing anyone. Learn which gods aren't good in the early game, but especially gods who are easy to gank. As a baseline, here's some gods in each role who are safe to mark, but keep in mind this isn't a strict do and don't guide. To make up for this hefty requirement of game knowledge from Kali, her abilities are quite simple, so let's get to it. In her first ability, Kali leaps forward dealing damage. You will also heal for 20% of the target's missing health, and if you hit multiple enemies, Kali will choose the heal based on whichever one would have given her the most health. How nice of her. Firstly, that heal is a great way to keep up Kali's sustain in the jungle, and I'll get to how to clear with her when we get to her next ability. But we need to talk about using this ability on gods first. On Kali, I'm sure you surmised that you don't use this ability to start fights, you use Blink for that. So this ability works great in tandem with her other abilities to chase down targets who have just used their movement ability to get away from you, and to get a heal in the process for your efforts so you can keep trucking along. So let's get to her second ability and see how they tie in with one another. Kali shoots out 3 blades, these blades converging in front of Kali, which she can select by looking up to make them meet later or down so they meet directly in front of her. Each blade does the same base damage, and the ability applies the damage over time even if you only hit one blade, and hitting multiple blades does not increase this damage over time. However, targets who have this damage over time on them grant Kali up to 30% lifesteal when she hits them, further allowing her to just chew through whoever she needs to. The damage on this ability overall is quite respectable if you hit all 3 on a target, but of course the damage is hindered significantly if you only hit 1 or 2 blades. Against camps, of course, this is very obvious how you do it. Just pull them towards you and to them. And for larger camps like buff camps, you want to jump on them as well for the heal and some damage. But how are you supposed to get in people's faces to hit all 3 blades at once? Well, with the third ability, naturally. Kali stuns all enemies in an AoE around her and gains power. Yeah, that's about it, but this is what enables Kali to get that triple blade hit with her second ability, so that's nice. So now, Blink, 3, Basic, 2, and Chase. Pretty basic stuff, but there's really no fiddling around here with Kali's combos. It doesn't really get better than this right here. Don't forget though that this is an AoE stun, so while you're being chased, or you just need to peel for yourself so you can keep on chasing, don't forget about this ability and give a quick side or backstep to stun people off of you so you can keep rampaging. It's an awesome ability for an in-your-face god like Kali and works with Blink beautifully. So now we have Blink 3, Basic 2, Basic, chase down with some more basics and leap on them if you can. And you have your passive damage and heal to look forward to. But how are you ever supposed to get this done in a big team fight? Won't you just kinda die? That's where Kali's ultimate comes in. Kali begins dealing damage every 0.5 seconds in an AoE around her, and becomes immune to roots, slows, and knockups. Oh, so she gets more damage and some immunities while chasing. No, that's not the best part. While this ability is active, Kali cannot go below 1 HP, as in she cannot die. Just as good though, she gets healed after the ability ends for 15% of her health. Not massive, but it's yet again another chance for a heal and a boost to get you to keep shredding, or to help save you if things don't go your way. Speaking of which, this is why I mentioned that you want to do your Blink 3-2 combo and hold on to the leap for as long as you can, since you can use this ability to extend your life and not force you to use your leap. And instead, use your leap to get out of there or re-engage on your new target. I also mentioned that Hasten Katana and Kin Size are shoe-in items for her, and this is why. Firstly, Hasten Katana. This item removes the usual basic attack movement speed penalty, meaning that once you've successfully landed a basic attack, you can continue walking down at your normal speed while basic attacking and not slow down whatsoever. This of course works directly with Kali's ultimate, since you want to be basic attacking while inflicting that damage over time at the same time for maximum effectiveness. But it also works indirectly with Kali too. Since she only has that stun for CC, which is great CC, don't get me wrong, it doesn't really work for chase down. But Kali is chase down incarnate, so she really needs Hasten Katana to work. And to be honest, it's not a very good item. 2,450 gold, almost no power, only decent attack speed, but you can't function without that passive, so you gotta do it. Trust me, I've tried without it and it just does not work. I mean, you can do it, but you really need to be able to stick right to people for extended chases. And Kin Size is the reason why. It actually works incredibly on Kali thanks to her basic attack chain. Kali attacks once normally, then twice more quickly than normal. Attacking quicker than she normally would means she procs Kin Size more times, so she actually deals more damage over time than a character with the same attack speed but a regular hit chain would. Luckily this item isn't like Hasten Katana though. Even though Kali needs it, it's a stellar item and has essentially never been objectively bad, unlike Katana. So I've already told you the only real combo to Kali. Blink, 3, Basic, 2, and Chase. So here I've got some clips of mine for you that I'm going to walk you through. Okay, so in this first one, this is a bit of an interesting clip here. So basically I'm 0-1, but I did get 2 assists, goated. But as you can see, I'm going the Golden Blade build just for a little bit of extra stay in there-ness, because we got pretty far behind this game, as you can tell. So of course this clip doesn't exactly have the lead up to what's happening, so basically they're getting ready to invade our red again, diving our left jungle, which they have been doing consistently, so we were ready for it this time. When I died, I selected the Raven as my target, because I was the best target on that team, essentially, in terms of kill ability versus, how valuable he is. So this is the very start of the clip, so this is as soon as I could get it. So I come down mid, I actually just ran past my speed buff, not the average jungler, just gonna put that out there. Run down mid, and now I'm here trying to help my my Ares out. So the classic blink stun, he goes in with a pull as well. So I did a lot of damage there, both with my basics, Golden Blade, Kin Size, and my 2 as well, all on top of it. So I actually bursted the Raven, oh my god, bursted the Raven pretty good. He pulls them both in, because he got both their beads, go to Ares. So of course I just run down my target, that's what we want to do. So this was definitely a mistake on my part here. So the Cleo came over and she just dove our Hera. I mean, that's a lost cause. She's full HP. The Maui is my target now, not the Cleo. So I should just be going for the Maui here. Just forget that. That's a lost cause. Just go for the Maui. So I start walking over here. Stupid. Should have just gone straight for this guy. And I'm running him down because I have Golden Blade, so I have a little bit of move speed. No Hasten Katana though, so I kind of you gotta space your basic attacks out. That's something I should have touched on in the video. When you don't have Hasten Katana, you have to space out your basic attacks like this. But there you go, still ran him down. That's a double. She's my target, and I still have my ultimate. I actually got my 3 back up, which is interesting. So no doubt I should be going for this 110%. She's also a very high value target right now. I just popped, so this was one thing I also didn't mention in the video. Sometimes you just ult for damage. Just ult for damage. You don't have to, like, there's nothing Cleo could do here that I can immune with the ultimate. The ultimate I'm just doing purely for damage to make sure I get that passive. She just used her 3, so it's not like she's gonna 3 away, but I don't want anything to happen here. I really need this kill right now because I was 0-1, so dive her, and bam. Ares was also goated there. He did really well. A lot of that was on him. But I would say the biggest thing is pure Kali passive. My mechanics, pretty whatever, decision making clearly not great, but Kali passive totally carried this fight, essentially. Okay, so here's still in the same match. You can see I'm 5-2, so things have been going uphill. My build's finally coming along. I have my Hasten, got my Odibo on the way. So basically here, if I remember correctly, the Charybdis got picked and left by the Cleo and the Ullr, and they lazy backed, and I picked out the Cleo. I think I could have gotten Ullr too, but the Cleo was still very, very strong, and she is my target, so I picked out her, and now I'm just chasing her down. But this, of course, is not, there's still 30 seconds, so this is not the core of the clip. Alright, So she ults once. Very cool character. So I beats the root because I'm just like, no, I'm in their jungle. I think I should just go for this. I could try and run away, but it's really just like, what's the point of that? I can try and run, but this is my target. This is my only way to sort of turn this, really, in case there's someone else other than the Raven as well. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So run her down, get the heal, and he's like, okay, well, you got the heal. Let me go to my Maui, who I didn't know was there, by the way. I just kind of had the feeling that, like, I'm in their jungle, so I should probably just try and turn this with my passive. So I'm just trying to run at them. I'm juking around. That doesn't really matter. I don't know why I was juking around. I should have just run straight at them, but anyways. Get stunned there. That stun was weird. I feel like that one didn't hit me. Yep, just focus the target. That's all I can do right now is just focus the target. Pop the ult, have hasten katana. See, this is why I like hasten katana, bro. Just brain dead it, but still. Okay, just purely run him down, get the heal, jump out, and we can pretend I didn't die after this because the Uller also came. But yeah, I guess this is just more of a flex of what Kali's passive is capable of, and just stuff you want to look out for as Kali, right? Like, if you're brand new to Kali, maybe you don't see this opportunity right in front of you to try and turn things. It's just like you get around this 4th item slot, and it's just like now you can really start dealing damage and start really running people down. Again, two most important things. You pretty much always need ult and you need beads to do stuff like this. So that's kind of where it gets a little tricky, but clearly Kali passive carries. I'll be honest. For ability leveling, you want your 2 at level 1, your 1 at level 2, and your 3 at level 3. Although if you intend to level 2 gank, you want to grab your 3 at level 2 instead. From there you want to max your 2, your 3, then your 1, leveling the ultimate whenever you can. And if you're wondering why you do your 3 over your 1, it's just for the bonus power it gives you. During a combo, it ends up giving you more damage than a leap ever could, which you may or may not even end up using for damage. Kali has had her times of relevance in the past few years, but it must be said that she's steadily become more and more difficult to pull off. An abundance of anti-heal, more early game focused metas, and numerous new counters to Kali's game plan in the form of unique escapes and harsher crowd control. If I learned anything while playing Kali for this video though, it's that her legendary hypercarry late game is 100% still there. The number one thing that complements this is game knowledge. Kali herself mechanically isn't hard, I think we're all agreed. But she demands very strong knowledge of other gods since you need to know when to use your ultimate, but more importantly your beads during a fight, since CCing Kali for long enough is all that needs to be done to keep you from machine gunning down your whole team. This works in more ways than one, since Kali is immune to certain CCs in her ultimate, but not all of them, so you really need to know what you can and cannot avoid as her, or you'll just flop over. The number one thing keeping Kali down right now, as I've mentioned, is the meta. It's super aggressive jungle meta and Kali just can't do that. You really can't gank anyone pre-level 5, and even so her ganks are genuinely terrible until your 2nd or sometimes even 3rd item. So how do you not get behind? Well, you will get behind on Kali, and I think that's where people get a bit lost on Kali. You'll almost never get a lead with Kali. You have to power farm for your items and sometimes just completely ignore what's happening in your lanes, and yeah, your teammates aren't going to like you for that. But just hold on and don't let yourself get too far behind, and she will blow through any team paper tiger style. She's a big risk, but if you and your team accept that risk and are willing to be patient, she can easily win matches by herself once she gets at least 4 or 5 items. That's about all I have on Kali for now. Thanks for watching.